If you've ever wanted to go full-time teaching martial arts, as in not have to have a second job, as in have more than 50 to 100 students at a time, what you can probably relate is that getting new leads to come into your school or into your garage, wherever you're teaching, is hard. Converting most of them into students is hard. Keeping them as students for longer than a few months is really hard. But what makes that so hard? Why is it that we can be great warriors in the martial arts, but not so much in sort of the art of conducting this as a business without feeling like a sellout? So without having to use a lot of these sales gimmicks and a lot of these McDojo techniques. I suffered the same way. Right after the 2008-2009 economic collapse, I opened a martial arts school in a small town that already had many martial arts schools. And within 6 months, we were more than profitable, and within the first year, we were the most profitable school in town. And I don't say this to brag. Why, when 98% of martial arts schools fail, meaning go completely out of business, why are some, the other 2%, doing well? Well, as you probably know, more than half of the ones that are left over that are doing well are the McDojos, right? The black belt factories, the ones who are cranking out sales techniques. Is that the only way? I always thought it was the only way, and it was the reason why we are holding ourselves back. And that's a lie that we're told in this industry. It's a lie that a lot of business owners are told actually in many industries. Wherever you are right now, if you're between 0 and 100 martial arts members and you're trying to double that, triple that, or to get to a place where you're profitable enough to not have a side job, or get to the point where you're more than profitable enough so that you can hire on and start to pay your apprentices and maybe even open a second location. Wherever you are, there are certain principles, and let's cover those really quickly. The Martial Arts MBA is a 2-week action-based workshop in which 20% of our sessions are spent learning the new strategies. 80% of our time is spent applying those strategies directly to your business and then creating a project in which you'll be applying them now. So why not bail on this completely and just pick up the top 10 business books on Amazon.com and maybe an audio course on marketing and sales for like social media or something? Why don't programs like that work? Why don't video courses with no active workshops work? Why do they have a 98% dropout rate? The answer is because there's no skin in the game, there's no accountability, and as soon as it starts to get hard, you go and you find something else to do. Imagine somebody comes into your, I don't know, jiu-jitsu school, and they say, I want to learn jiu-jitsu, and so you said, well, here's a book about jiu-jitsu, go home, read about it, and then come in on Saturday for our free grappling day, and we're going to put you with a blue belt and just see how you do. That would be insanity. Why can't he perform in reality the thing that he reads about without having actually done it with an instructor, gone through the battle-tested back and forth? The reason is because there's a difference between watching a video on something, reading a book about something, listening to an audiobook about something, and actually doing it. So the difference between doing what we're doing in the Martial Arts MBA and doing an accredited business school program, you're not going to come to me for 2 years and pay me $70,000 to go through a program like this. Instead, what we're doing is taking that 2 years and taking all the little bits that you would have gotten of use and slamming it into 2 weeks. Section 1 in the Martial Arts MBA is all about marketing and sales. Now, I know that sounds really general, but we're going to teach exactly how to spend almost no money, not almost no money, a few $100s a month, in order to get quality leads that are pre-sold, ready to buy, and excited to show up for their appointment. They're not going to bail on you. Instead of having to feel like a sellout, we're going to give you ways of conversationally selling, building relationship and rapport, and then converting that relationship and rapport to a student that is excited to pay you and wants to be a member instead of having been swindled into being a member, convinced to be a member, bribed into being a member with a sale. Everybody's always having sales. Stop the damn sales and start doing better sales. Does that make sense? The marketing and sales is the first section. The second section, possibly even more important, how to keep those members involved for 2 to 3 times longer. Now that might not sound important, but the schools that are signing up 100 people in a year, but 75 of them are quitting after the first 2 months because they're full of crap, they're not going to make as much money as a school that has half the number of students, but they have most of their members staying for 1.5 years to 2 years. It's called the lifetime value of a customer. And I'm going to teach you how to maximize the total dollar amount that you get out of each member while not upselling them and not making them feel like you're hassling them to buy extra crap from you. There's a big difference. They're going to want to continue to pay. They're going to want to be continuously auto build. So consumer lifetime value is going to be the second section. Third section, profitability. Profitability is more than just sales. How to make it so that your business brings in money but doesn't leak it out the bottom of the boat. There's a big difference between someone who's bringing in, let's say, $200,000 a year in total income into the business, and somehow they only have $50,000 going into their personal bank account. How the hell is that possible? Martial arts schools are pretty lightweight businesses. Well, that's happening all over the place. Even more common is a school that's bringing in $80,000 a year in total income, and there's only $20,000 going to the martial arts school owner, and now they have to work a second job. So we'll talk about how to make sure that the money that's coming in, the money that is coming in, even if it's only 40 students, even if it's only 70 students, you're keeping the lion's share of that. The last program, or the last section of the program rather, is how to create standard operating procedures in your business so that you, your apprentices, and your assistants can have a smoothly running machine. You might not know this yet if you haven't run a big school, but going from 20 students to 150 students is hell if you don't have it running like a well-oiled machine. And I guarantee you, if you're watching this video and you're not already making six figures in this industry, it's going to be hell for you. You're going to hate it. You're going to start to self-sabotage your business because it won't be running in a way that keeps it fun. It's going to feel overcrowded. It's going to feel overbusy. I'm going to show you how to make sure that your apprentices and assistants know exactly how to handle communicating with every member that comes in. Well, what we want is for your members to literally evangelize for you, to be so damn excited about what you're bringing to the table and what your assistants and apprentices are bringing to the table and what their feeling of family is like with their other students there. We're going to have them running around not only preaching it, but dragging people in by their hair because they can't imagine their friends and family not experiencing what they experience. Now, I know that sounded like a little bit of a ramble, but it's true. When you have that going on, when you complete all 4 sections of the Martial Arts MBA, you'll have a system after just those 2 weeks because you're applying the lessons every day. Remember, it's only 20% strategy and 80% application. By the end of it, you will have a system to get new leads in, convert them to sales, convert those sales into sales that stay with you for a much longer period of time, years, and that they not only stay and pay, but they evangelize. Once you have that system running without overpaying for TV ads, radio ads, magazines, direct mail, all that nonsense that no one's paying attention to anymore, I'm going to teach you the alternatives in the program. Once you have that going and you have members that are talking about you more than your marketing's talking about you, they're bringing in more people than all the marketing that I'm teaching you is by doing the steps that I'm going to lay out in front of you that worked for me, that worked for my clients, that works for the people who are trying to do this without being a sellout. You'll have a system together that will be fun. It won't take the joy out of teaching. You won't feel like a sellout, black belt factory McDojo nonsense. And the people that are within your family group that you're thinking about turning into apprentices and assistant instructors will have a block, a framework, so that they know what to do for you, how to do it, and how to maximize themselves and how to feel like they have a purpose in your school. So what should you be doing next? What's the first step for you? We keep the program to a maximum of 50 members at a time per semester. The next semester that's coming up, the dates will be printed in the description below. Who is this not for? This is not for people who are just looking for another motivational video. And this is also not for people who are unwilling to have skin in the game. This program costs money. You have to spend time on it. You're going to be spending time every other day for 2 weeks. It's going to be like going back to school. You will figure out a way to make the time. And at the end of the day, you'll be getting replay links for it. So who is it not for? People who aren't willing to invest time, energy, and the proper amount of finances to get their business finances ramped up. If you're serious about taking the next step, if you actually want to level up and not just talk about it, then you're like me and we're going to get along well. And I encourage you to apply for the Martial Arts MBA.